Hello, this is Barbara Calvano, and welcome to Let's Ask the Angels on Blog Talk Radio. Join me now for guidance and messages from the divine to support you on your path to living with mastery. Hello, everyone. This is Barbara Calvano, and welcome to Let's Ask the Angels, here live on Blog Talk Radio. And for the rest of you who will be listening to the replay, welcome also. And that's on Apple, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, Google Play, and more. And thank you again. Today is President's Day here in the United States, and that means a day off for a lot of people. But anyway, I'm here to share with you messages for the month of February, and though you might listen to this replay at any time during the year and still get value, that's what I like about channeling energy, which is what I call connecting with your angels. I have a special topic today. It's called Being Present to Love. And at first thought, with February, many of you may think, well, it has to do with romantic relationships. It could be, but more powerfully, I want to talk about the greatest love, which is connecting to your highest self. And I'll be getting to those of you who have called in for a mini reading towards the end of the show. But for now, I'm going to share with you the messages for the month that I pulled from the Mother Mary Oracle by Elena Fairchild. I recommend any of her decks for learning to connect with energy, angel energy, and more. And that's that. So being present to love. As I was preparing for this show today, the angels already started giving me many messages. And one of them is this. At any time we are making choices, and we're making choices for living towards fear or for love. So you can't be aiming for love if you're aiming for fear. It may sound very black and white, but in this situation, it's pretty set. It's pretty set. When I started to see that, am I living my life out of making choices out of fear, or am I making choices out of love? Everything changed. Everything changed drastically. And in that moment, I could see how many choices I had been making out of fear. Many of us do that. We're conditioned to do that. We're surrounded by people who worry unnecessarily, habitual ways of thinking. Many of it is generational, ancestral. We kind of know that, but we don't think we can do anything about it. And when we're being present to love, we are being present to our highest self, which I said, which also is our ability to, connect to the highest energies and to the helpers, guides, assistants, angels, and wisdom. So I just want to check 1 second for something, because I tried something new on my microphone. I want to make sure I can be heard. So I'm going to ask my caller who's listening right now on area code 917, can you hear me? Hello there. I'm just checking the mic. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi. Yes, thank you. All good.
Beautiful. I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
You're good. You're nice and clear and smooth.
Okay.
And you're
very good. Well. Thank you. So here we go. Again, as I was preparing, at this point for many years, I would be preparing for a talk that I would do at a New Age fair or event, a public event. And so, since I don't have one scheduled, my angel said, well, this is your public event. And it really occurred to me that when I have access to speaking about what I really care about, it is my public event. And I have a birthday coming up Wednesday, and I'll be turning 70. That number even blows my mind. But why I say that is because I have something to say, as many of you who have lived many years. And it's so easy to fall into the category that we don't. We know inherently that we do, but we're surrounded by a lot of loud voices, right? So I want each of us to honor our lives, our experience, and our wisdom, and know that we indeed do have something to share. And so for many years, I've been teaching that one of the ways to de-stress, relieve your anxiety, was cutting cords and vacuuming, which I started out this whole angel podcast with, and a lot of my clients and talks had all been about clearing your lower energies, clearing your negativity, clearing a lot of this stuckness with cutting cords and vacuuming with Archangel Michael, which works. But in the past couple of years, I've been using, and I had learned a whole new technique, which is faster, immediate, and so much more powerful. And that is using the ascension flames. Many of you have heard of the violet flame. Oh, this flame, if you could visualize a flame like fire, basically you visualize it, you see it in your mind's eye, and you see it enveloping you. Not that it hurts you with this flame, fire, but it actually purifies you. So if you could see the violet flame purifying you completely, being enveloped in that color, it immediately clears you of unnecessary thoughts and energies for that day. Now, there's nothing wrong with certain thoughts and things. I mean, we're human, we have these. But you and I know when there are times when you can actually feel stuck, you can feel upset. And there are ways to clear that. And so I've been using triple and ascension flames. Triple, 3. So you choose 3. And I would use, right now I'm using the amethyst or purple, violet flame, the green flame of Archangel Raphael, which clears you for physical things, also very powerfully. So it's an emerald green. So you see an emerald green light enveloping you, and that clears you immediately. Just in the manner of the thinking, it clears you. And then the third one you could choose of so many, and I choose the highest level of white diamond white light of Christ consciousness, which is a mixture of some other colors. I'm a painter also, so I love this work. But you can see that you layer 3 of the flames, visualize it in your mind's eye, and you're done. What do I mean by done? It's as if you've had a cleansing, a clearing, a release of what you do not need in this moment. Does it change your life? Does it change your bank account? Does it change things immediately in your surrounding? No. But do you feel much more at ease and peaceful? Yes. If you do this before you go to sleep, can you sleep better? Yes. Can you do it before you need to go to an event or to a class or something where you're a little nervous? Yes. It's so simple. So I wanted to share that. Learning about triple ascension flames, I think, is probably the most powerful thing you could do for your life today, period. I learned it from Diana Cooper. She has a book called The Golden Future, and there's a couple chapters devoted specifically to this, and also her online classes that she gives for a really low fee. I highly recommend. So in terms of connecting to your highest self, being present to love. So when you're present to love, you're present to your power. You're present to your ability to clear negativity immediately, to bring yourself to peace immediately. I had spoken about this before. I have a relative who really thinks it's okay to have their teen, and this may be controversial for a lot of people, but I just need to share about it. I've experienced 33 years of sobriety And what that's giving me is an enormous amount of ability to tap into serenity. And in this day and age of everything that's going on in the world, between our personal lives and in the global, how could you have peace? Well, there are ways to do it. And one is being sober. So I have a relative who thinks it's fine that their teen vapes cannabis. Now, if the kid had a disease that needed calming or whatnot, I might understand it, but this is not the case. So I'm adamant about sharing. Like, there are 99 things you can do besides smoking cannabis, weed, I'm going to say it, to relax and calm down. And why am I saying this? Because when you do something naturally, say like using the triple ascension flames with the angels versus a substance. One, you don't know the exact nature of what that substance is. And we get into the habit of stopping our development. It's called arrested development, basically. Emotionally stopping ourselves by numbing ourselves. So those 7 years when I was drinking alcohol, I was, yes, stopping what I was feeling. I did not know how to feel those deep emotions. And basically they were anger, rage, deep, deep sadness. I didn't know how to just hold it. Or to, if I had access to connecting with the ascension flames, I could have just breathed it in and breathed it out. Now, this is going to be a way of being of people of the future. There'll be a time where people just do this naturally. Breathe in, breathe out, and you're fine. But in the meantime, there's about, hundreds, if not thousands of pharmaceutical drugs. And there's a lot of things that people do out of randomly choosing, getting immediate results, they think. But if you're altering the physicality of your body, affecting your lungs, and if you're really, choosing these things as like out of fear, like I can't feel this thing. No, when we use the triple ascension flames, you feel what you're feeling to a point. You use the flames that releases the anxiety and stress and the intensity of the emotion. And you do get what I call the miracle that comes around the corner just when you least expect it, through something you see on the internet, something somebody says, which is the exact thing you need to see and understand. Clear that energy out of your system for good. Like today, I looked on my social media and I saw that today's Remembrance Day for the Japanese. This was the day in the 1940s that the President of the United States ordered hundreds of thousands of Japanese to be put into the internment camps. All right? None of my relatives were sent there, but my mother had me as a baby like in 1954. So it was shortly after all this had happened in the United States. It immediately made me understand my mother more, why she was the way she was. Not able to speak up. Out of fear. Anything my father did, out of fear. Real fear. So we all have something. And so when we have these intense emotions, I'm always connected like, strings of a pearl or like layers of an onion to something deeper. And there's always a connection. And if you are aware, awake, conscious, sober mind, you're going to be able to see this answer, see the answers. And what happens when you have the answer is the heart just opens up more and more and more, and you get more connection to the people in your lives, to the world. But when you choose something to numb yourself, you get the exact opposite. You don't get the opportunity to see the answer. Part of us feels like you can't go there. It's too deep. It's too painful. But the truth is, we're able to do that. We can do that. When we're being present to love, we are being present to the love given to us by God, Goddess, higher power, the angels. The love is their love. The love is their connection with us, wanting to help us, guide us, enlighten us, partner with us. So, yes, and we do a little bit of this, you better believe you're going to attract people who kind of think the same way, meaning they want to be responsible for their health. They're not blaming the government for what's happening to them, though, there could be things happening, but they're not spending their time living in anger. Now, there are things that are happening again that may be truthful, but there's a difference between being able to acknowledge something that's happening outside of you and then wearing it inside of your liver and your heart and the organs of your body. So many of us, we take an emotion, we take an experience, and we're actually wearing it inside our bodies. And that's not loving ourselves, because we're taking an experience that's from the outside and we're putting it onto us. So when we numb ourselves, or when we stop ourselves from feeling love, feeling that there is a possibility. So that first relationship really has to do with ourselves. And when we begin that and we trust it and we understand that it is the most important one, anything else that you want to attract, from personal, love relationships, work relationships, everything gets better. Or if not better, it aligns to what your values are. All of a sudden, you're working with the kind of people that you really love. You're attracting people around you the same way. A quick temperature to take of how you're doing is take a look at your relationships. How are they doing, right? If there's a lot of people around you that are complaining and whining and are slightly depressed, there's pretty much that's the way you're going to go. It is not easy to pull away and be different when you're with people who want to drown their emotions. And it can be subtle. It doesn't have to be blatantly drunken on the side, in a ditch, a gutter on the road. It could just be needing that thing to take the edge off of life. And when we choose to take the edge off of life, numb ourselves, we're not present to the love that's available. And we might not be able to see it. That's okay. It's there. How do I know? Because you're alive. I'm alive. I'm not talking to a corpse. I'm not talking to somebody who's been frozen, right? This whole crypto thing. So the love is so vast. It's so big. It's so huge, even if you've gone through an insurmountable amount of trauma, which many have. Many. Despite your financial level in life. It's not just for people who are poor. So being present to love is being present to the help of the angels, help of the archangels, the unicorns, the dragons, the elementals, the special beings from even beyond. There's so much. Look at nature. Nothing's stopping nature. It continues to go despite all the things we do to it. It keeps going and going and going. So when you truly choose to live with love versus fear, everything changes. But the hardest thing a human being can do is to tell the truth that they're miserable, or that they suffer. I talked to a relative the other day who was talking about their sciatica. So between you and me, I don't have it, but I think it's painful. So when he said he's taking the supplement, I said, well, so I do this for the pain. He goes, well, I don't have pain. So here's a person talking about a problem, but they can't even admit that they have pain for whatever reasons. It's how they were brought up, how they were trained. The hardest thing for people to do is to get out of denial, stop being in denial. It's as if someone brainwashes or throws I don't like that word, what do they call it, like a spell. It's as if they're under a spell that they suffer, but they can't even see it. They're so into their suffering that it has become normal. It's become normal. It's like the fish in the goldfish bowl who's swimming around. So a fish doesn't know that it's in the water. It's just swimming around. So it doesn't really know that, if the water gets dirty or anything, the fish is just swimming around. So we become like fish in water. We're just swimming around. We don't even know we're in it. We don't even know we're in our suffering. We don't even know that we made a choice. I say we made the choice because it really is at one point something happened and we chose to suffer. And in that moment, everything became about that. So when we're being present to love, we find out we have endless choices. We have endless possibilities. See, that's the difference between numbed out by weed or alcohol, where you're not present. You're not present. Versus use the triple flames. You're still in your body. You're still got the same, physicality. Though I would guess that if someone did a brain scan and check your pulse rate, you'd notice just like this balancing out of the body. But there's nothing there clouding your ability to be present. When we're present, we're in our bodies, we're in the world with everything that's going on, with all of our feelings, and we use the assistance of the angels to just clear away. It's like an umbrella that we put up that kind of like just keeps away the extra, because we do become like sponges in this world as we try to open up our hearts. There's a lot of stuff out there that it's easy to be affected, especially now on the news and on social media. So when we're able to do this naturally, we get to see, sense, feel, intuit with all of our senses the magic that is there. And even in the worst scenarios that are happening on the planet right now, even with those happening, there's something inherently good happening. All it is, it's making us aware of what these things are, what these people are doing. So we can take actions. We can make choices. We can make better choices with our vote, etc. So when these things happen, we actually can take responsibility. Being present, we can see what are the choices. What are the choices? Because if there were a dark energy that wanted to take over, but I don't believe it in as an entity, but I think there's a consciousness that if enough people were really depressed, you would see what would happen to the world. But that's not the case right now. There's a lot of people who are called, and we get made fun of, as light workers, because we have this connection to the light, to bringing in the light, even though we're going through personally many, many, many difficulties, many emotional changes and transformations. But we learn how to access the light while we go through it. While I have parents who are in their 90s and going through their health challenges, and et cetera, things that are happening in this country. So being present to love is a powerful place to be. Choose it. And once you choose it, you'll get to see where you're not. And if you have fear, you work with the triple ascension flames to help you go through that fear. Like when I wanted to get married at age 35 in 1988, it was a desire, a prayer for me. And then I got to see that I was intensely afraid. I had so much fear about it, right? So what I got to see was that I had to learn, how could I be present to shaking in my boots while I went on dates to begin to say, I wanted to find the person I was going to marry. And indeed, I did that within 3 months. And I did that also through a course that I highly recommend called the Landmark Forum. So there are so many tools out there for being present to love. It's not like this hopeless thing, that this romanticized phenomenon that doesn't happen to most people, blah, 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 blah. We get to create our lives. And the more we're present, being present to love, we're present to the loving beings there to assist us. And the beings could be connected to nature, connected to, nature. But when we're connected to ourselves as a being of love, we take better care of ourselves. And when we're not, it's easy to trash ourselves. In the name of, well, so-and-so does it, We go to this family gathering and everybody gets drunk, so I guess I have to get drunk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many times where we're not making the choice of our soul. We're just going along. We're just going along. And when we're being present to love, we stop just going along. We stop it. We start seeing that's not my choice. That may have been my family's generational choice. It's not my choice. It even goes as far as if you want to be the one that's going to change the ancestral traumas, end the ancestral traumas. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to be the one who raises their hand and says, nope, I'm not bringing any children into this world, and I'm okay with that. Or two, I'm not choosing to use alcoholic rage as my way of communicating. I'm just not going to do it. So being present to love is powerful. It's for all of us. It's available. And it's now. It is right now. Being present to love, connection, it's like the pilot light of a stove. Once it's lit, you're on. The warmth of your heart is there. And it'll be easier for you to walk out. And I'm bringing up family because this is where so many of us lose our power. We lose our presence to love. Instead, we become chained to approval. We become slaves to approval. We lose ourselves out of the need for someone to like us, not knowing that we are separate, unique, sovereign beings. That's who we are. We don't owe anybody anything. Kindness, of course. But you don't live, there are people who live their lives like martyrs. And that's a pattern that they learned. Certain cultures where the women act like martyrs. They give themselves to the point where they literally die when they're serving the Thanksgiving turkey in the kitchen because they just don't know how to give to themselves. It wasn't taught. There was a saying for a while that you can have it all. You can have it all. Well, I say you can have it all when you can be present to your love. Be present to love. You will take care of yourself and say, no, I'm not cooking this Thanksgiving turkey. I'm going to order in. And I love you guys, but this is what I'm going to do for me. I mean, there's simple things. But this is what we're able to do. So being present to love. I'm going to say, be sober, be aware, be conscious. If you have to take certain medications because of your health, take a moment and see how they're affecting you. For many people, it changes their personality. For some people, it's lifesavers. But there are some people who use them and they know that they're not the same as when they're off the medication. You may want to find ways to wean off certain medications naturally with the help of your doctor and also natural health care type of physicians. This talk today that I'm giving to you from my week of turning 70 is the one that I want you to know is that you can have great health at age 70. You don't have to be on any medications. You can have powerful relationships with your family. They may not be perfect, but you'll be free from the pain and suffering that can happen with family interactions. This is why I do this show, Let's Ask the Angels. It isn't just about fluffy angel wings now going to take away your problems. It's about connecting with yourself and the angels to assist you in walking your life, going through this time that you're going to be here on the planet most powerfully. Most powerfully. And when I say the word powerfully, getting the juice out of this life, making sure you find a purpose. You find a reason to be alive, even if it takes you to your 70 or 80. Finding meaning in our lives, which pretty much is going to be not just from being alone. It's going to be about interacting with community, finding who you really enjoy being with as a community. And in that way, inadvertently, you may find your, in quotes, soulmate or twin, whatever, twin flame. For any of you looking for that, your happiness is not going to be dependent on that other person. I can already give you that. Tell you that. It'll be great. You'll find a partner. You'll find a best friend. You'll find an energy that you can walk on the planet with together, that when your two energies are together, you bring this new energy to the planet. It's not going to solve your answers of being lonely. Love yourself so much that another person wants to be with you, because they also need to love themselves. Find hobbies, find work that they really enjoy doing. Take care of themselves so that they can be vital and healthy and not have two people coexisting just complaining about how miserable their lives are, which happens to a lot of people. So being present to love is being present to your highest choices. You have choices. And if this is difficult for you to understand, then you might want to have a reading with me. We can do energetic report and see where you're stuck. But in my work with my best clients, I have basically kicked them out into the world where they found their work. Not only found their work, they got increases in pay over the next 5 years. My one client got so many raises, so many shifts because she found her being present to love of herself, having to create boundaries with her parents. So many things. So it takes work to be a happy, successful, joyful, healthy person in this world. It is not a magic wand effect. I could give you one card, and the one card reading, it may help you feel better today. But unless you take massive, courageous, risky action, nothing will change. Nothing. And the changes that I was able to make because I believe my guardian angel was always with me, still with me today, helped guide me to make changes that were freaking scary, really scary, and went against so many things in my family, my immediate family, and my cultural family of the journey. It is about being able to live your life with courage, being present to love and the love of life, which is why you are here. So the three cards today are Our Lady who prevents interference. So I'm talking about that a little already. There will be things that will come up in your life as interference. What happens when most people face interference? They stop. Or they make up a story. Well, I guess I'm not ever supposed to have that person in my life that, loves me, or I'm never supposed to have a job that's any good, or it's always going to be like that. It changes. So here the first card is Your inner light is growing, my beloved, and through love you are attracting many who can be nourished by you. As the love in you blossoms, there are others who are captured in fear who may feel threatened by you and wish to obstruct your growth. I am your salvation and protection, for my love is greater than any fear. Place your loving trust in me. You shall not be harmed, nor shall you be swayed from your inevitable spiritual success on my path of love. I prevent spiritual sabotage from succeeding. The success on your path through me is the triumph of spiritual freedom. So basically, what it says is that you already know what you want. Some of you have been going after it, and some of you have been stopped or have things that have happened. I'm not here anymore to tell you which way it's going to go. What I'm here is to give you that kick, to propel into your life where you use certain techniques on your own to clear your energy, and you keep putting yourself out there. You become unstoppable. And what this card is saying is that you have the energy and love of Mother Mary, whether you're religious or not, and the angels who will prevent interference from stopping you. But you have to decide that you are going to be unstoppable. You have to decide. You don't wait to see if it pans out. You have to choose to be that warrior, warrioress in your life and forward. There's nothing wrong with not stepping forward. There's nothing wrong with living a half-lived life. There's nothing wrong with not being present to love, with being cynical, resigned. There's nothing wrong with it. It just feels, for me, a lot more fun, and you actually feel healthier and freer when you choose to jump into the game of life. It's a different experience than sitting back and complaining about it. Now, the second card is Our Lady who gives peace. So basically, you're being given peace. The peace is all around us. We're not going to see it unless we're going to jump in and play the game of life. So it says, you have been holding on to a deep concern, and I ask you to hand it over to me now. That's another thing to do. You have a worry or concern, give it over to your angels. How do you do that? Just give it over. Kind of see it like in your mind's eye, like you're tossing a basketball and you're just shooting it. You're giving it over to them, and you let it go. And you just stop worrying and complaining about it. Allow me to offer you a gift in exchange for your devotion and trust. I offer you the gift of peace. Peace that all is now resolved. Peace that the material situation is flowing towards perfect completion. My peace be with you now, my child. Is this easy? Hell no. Absolutely not. Is it doable? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I'm giving you like a free, anyone listening, it's like a free $500 consultation. I'm giving you the answer. It is available. You just have to choose it. Do you choose it just once? No. You choose it every day, over and over and over again. Because you're going to be in situations where you're going to have to choose. Am I going to be upset about this and be pulled into my old ways, or am I going to choose stepping forward? Easier, but it's something you learn how to do. Now, the third card is Our Lady of Soul Birth. And here it says, you and I have never been separated. Though you may fear it's been so, my beloved one. Yet as you grow, I grow. As you suffer, I suffer. As you celebrate, I celebrate. When you rage and grieve, so too do I rage and grieve. Your journey upon this planet is held within my loving embrace, as is my journey too. I am with you always. We cannot be parted. I accept all parts of you and all parts of your journey. There is nothing to hide from me, for I am in your life with you. When you reject parts of yourself, you reject your life with you. When you reject parts of yourself, you reject me. When you love yourself, you love me. Love me, dear one. Love yourself, and your radiant soul grows into life, into light upon the earth. So we're born with this soul. We're born with this connection. And along the way, many of us lose that connection. And some of us may find it through church, through a religion, and that's beautiful. Or a course, or a class, or community. But what does it take? It takes being present to love, being present to the possibilities, being present to the choices available, being present to them. I know way, way too many who will sit and tell you how it is, how it's going to go, and that really nothing makes a difference. And you and I know the people just like that. It's a way of being, it's a way of thinking, and guess what? It creates bodies that are really, really inflamed unnecessarily. We have earth angels all around us. When I say earth angels, we have teachers, we have holistic physicians, we have people who can help us. But if we're not willing to make ourselves available to them, nothing changes. So as I continue to do this show, and I'm going to be taking your calls now, it's that I'm no longer just wanting to give you a reading for an answer. The angels have told me people already know what they need to know. What they're missing is how to take care of themselves so they can go after their dreams and fulfill their dreams and their goals. They already know, but they're afraid, they're stuck, they don't have the information, they need the confidence, and sometimes in your readings with me, I can assure you you're on the right track. But I can already tell you, if you're listening and you've been listening to me this far along, you're on the right track. You just need someone to tell you, you can have being present to love. You can have those things that you want, those relationships, but it's going to take something. It's going to take being present to where there has not been love in your life. I'm going to say that again. You're going to have to be present to one of those times in your life where you smoked pot for 28 years to numb yourself as a yoga teacher, and then you turn around and wonder why your nervous system is all dysregulated. And I say this because I'm emphatic about the people who are pretending to be leaders in things that I think they're not well. They're just not well. The people who are pretending, or they ruin their teeth from bulimia, years of bulimia, but can't even relate that their over perfectionism is affecting their life right now and their children's lives because they didn't heal. So in both scenarios, they didn't take the time to do the healing work. A lot of people have gone through a lot of trauma and a lot of suffering. But if we don't take the time to be present to that, give it some light so that it can become enlightened. That's all you have to do. But most people will turn away. It takes courage to be present to love. It takes courage, and the angels can help us do that. So I'm going to take a few callers now. Many of you dropped, but this was today's TED Talk on being present to love. So let me take the caller. I think it's my first caller that was here. Area code 917, and I can pull a card for you if you would like. Hello there.
Hi.
Hello there.
Tricky today. I apologize. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Yes. Hi. This is Karen, and inspiring talk. I have been doing a lot of work, and I'm not as far along as I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I wonder what's ahead for me, and maybe might be related. I had a meeting last week. I wonder if that's going to make any changes, good or bad, coming forward in my life, or whatever the angel cards have for me.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the very first thing you said. However that meeting turns out, the lesson of that is that you feel good. Whichever way, the lesson in that is that you choose to feel good, whether it goes this way or that way, because it almost feels like you've already made up your mind.
Well, initially after it, I did feel good, and then I was thinking about it some more, and I said, I'm not so sure it went that way, and now I'm a little worried.
No, what I'm saying is this, is that
Yes.
whether you get it or not, is it something that you might get? Right?
I suppose so. You could look at it that way, yeah.
Yeah, so whether you get it or not, you choose to find a way to feel fabulous. That is the answer. And how do you do that? Do you do any yoga? Do you walk outside? How's your health? How do you feel even before that thing that's outside of you is happening? So the answer to this whole thing is, what are you doing to take care of your mindset with or without that thing? For someone else, it could be a relationship. For you, it looks like a job. So that's the answer. I can't tell you which way it's going to go. What I can tell you is, if you are clinging to it out of fear, you're probably not going to get it. And until you can calm down and just accept what the universe has for you and know that you are going to, in a sense, how do I say it, the frequency that you are, the vibe that you are, how you are holding yourself, it's going to attract work and people to work with you on the same level. If you are, does that make sense? And I don't know you that well, but you may be accomplished, and this may be fine. But if you have ever been a worrier, someone who worries a lot, or, in that energy, it's probably going to keep going that way. It's really that simple. Because you could get it, you could get the situation and still be a worrier. Does that make sense? Like you could get it, and then you would have the next level list of things that you would be wired about, concerned about. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I don't really think it's quite that.
Okay.
This is real. It's rooted in the reality.
Okay.
I'm not, Yeah.
So basically, I'm not going to pull a card and tell you it's going to go this way or that. I don't do that type of work. What I do is I prepare you for what is it that you want to attract. If it doesn't turn out for what you want, Karen, then next, it'll be the next one. Does that make sense?
Possibly.
Well, when I was dating to find my husband, right, I went on 7 dates before I met my husband. If I had stopped at number 2, I never would have met my husband. Because I did interviews of the people I was dating, of the men I was dating, and basically I said, are you interested in getting married at this point, and are you free? And most of them were not interested in getting married. I was willing to try a new conversation that was based on my energy, not on what I was pretending anymore, right? So it was like, no. And then Lou said, yes, I am, but I'm seeing someone right now. I said, okay, well, whenever you're free, if you happen to be free in the future, here's my phone number, and goodbye. 2 days later, he called me and said he broke up with this woman because he really wasn't happy with her. So what I mean by that, when you stand for what you deserve and what you care about and what you want, it will come to you on your terms. It may not be the one for you, or it will, but that's not the point. The point is, if you don't get it, you just have to get out and get out again, and put yourself out again, and put yourself out again. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's not an opportunity. It's nothing like that. It's not like, okay, let's move on to a different one. It's a whole different situation.
Okay. Well, you wanted to know which way it was going to go, and I don't. You have the power. You have the power.
No, I don't. Not in this case.
What is the situation?
It's the government.
It's what?
It's the government.
The government, you have something, taxes or something, or what is it?
Yeah, it's a financial program.
Okay.
I don't like that on it, but I have needed it, unfortunately.
Okay.
A disability. Okay, so it was a review.
Okay.
And I'm always nervous because you never know what they're thinking or whatever.
Exactly. So the best thing that you can do is relax in between now and the time that you find out, because guess what happens when you learn how to really deeply relax? You know the answer. You heal yourself. You begin healing.
Well, I do breathing and meditation and listen to light language activations, and it does. It helps, but it doesn't. It's not permanent. That's the problem. And my mind is overactive, and it would, it's still in the back of my mind. What's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Yeah. Well, I don't have the answer for that. The answer I have is to find more ways. Learn about triple ascension flames. If you can't afford the book, Google it on YouTube and learn about that. It's very powerful, and it lasts. The thing about a lot of this light language stuff, a lot of it between you and me is not. I'm sorry. I just don't get, the people that I see doing it, What you want to do is look at your body, look at your health. Where do you need to be stronger? What could you do to afford yourself even more organic food and supplements? What could you do to help yourself? And see that that's possible. It's totally possible. Yeah. Okay? And I'm stay away from certain light language people because it actually can be holding you back. Because I'm telling you, they're not grounded. They're not grounded. What you need to do is find what you need with your situation, your physical disability. How can you support yourself more? And if you need to find ways to finance it, how can you do that? The angels are here to help you. Okay? I gave you an extra session today, but, I feel other people could see. You have more power than you realize. And absolutely, when you're having to wait for an outcome like you are, it could cause anxiety. But it also can cause you to feel your immune system to get lower, and you don't need that.
Right,
you just don't need that.
That's true. I know.
Okay.
Right. Everything I know. Yes. Thank you. Can I just ask you? Do you like or think that any people who channel light language are legit or positive?
Yeah, I think some of them do, but they're attracting people like you. And what I mean by that, I mean this with all due respect. You can do something better with your time. You might want to learn, how could I earn some money to pay for some things that could help me physically? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of people doing light language that are shifting your physical disability, even though they may say it. So that's it. Okay?
So other modalities are more beneficial.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. How do you know? Are you getting results? A lot of people don't know about chiropractic. Chiropractic turns the light on in people's bodies. It allows the brain to send the signals to the rest of the organs so that they can function properly. People don't know that. Neck and back pain. They have no idea. These are people who are really making a difference for people. So I'm telling you, there are earth angels who can give you actual support that's going to transform you, like in the next week or so, versus the yada yada light language people, right? Unless you feel and sense a manifested physical change in you, I would find something else. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to waste.
No. The thing is, in the moment, it makes me feel uplifted. I feel like I'm raising my vibration and all that. So, not like I see it, translated into the physical other than that.
Yeah, well, you could sing hallelujah. You could go walk a dog. You could go outside and garden. Those things would make you feel better, too. All right, so I have to go.
Okay.
And I wish you the best of luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And on that note, I have a little bit of time.
Hi, thank you.
Hello there.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am just wondering if you can see how I will be doing financially. Just hanging on. Lots of unexpected ongoing bills that have kind of affected the new year.
Okay, so I don't do those type of readings. What I will do is no, I don't do that because I find that disempowers people. So this is what I would say. Yeah, like if my whole show is about that you have the power. Look at your numbers, see what you have to do. Can you bring in another source of income? Can you take out a loan? You do the practical aspects of being responsible, and you will be healthy and happy. But I'm not going to tell you the wind is blowing this way or that, because it doesn't really empower you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do readings like that. Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you, I don't know if this is the same energy, but what about a mate coming in this year?
Same thing. What plans do you have for taking action? Yeah. You start taking actions, you're going to see results.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, my earphones went a little funny. But anyway, thank you all for being here today. And live an empowered life that you dream of. What actions are you going to take? And ask the angels to help you take those actions. Don't look for readers, psychics, light language people to do it for you. They're not here to do that for you. They're here to let you know it's all possible and will assist you in taking actions. Find someone who you can be held accountable for you taking actions, and you will see a completely transformed life. No one's going to walk into your life. No job is going to walk into your life unless you put yourself out there. All right. Sending you the very best.